everybody, and welcome back to Not Gonna Do That Same Joke, where I don't know what we're doing, because now I want to say to everybody, welcome back to the Pixel Loadout podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Harrison, and I've got back with me my regular co-host, as always.
Hey, I'm DJ.
And we have a special guest returning this week.
Hey, I'm Ernie.
Thanks for coming on with us, Ernie.
Hey, not a problem.
Cool. So this will be our ninth episode, I believe, of This Week in Gaming, talking about the biggest news stories that are going on in the gaming industry. And it's actually been a pretty full week, wouldn't you say, guys?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We've got PAX 2012 going on right now, and that's a big show for announcing. I mean, it's a big show mainly for like the smaller indie communities and stuff like that. But there have been a lot of bigger devs that have come out and decided that they're going to show off some of their stuff. So we've had a few things here and there. There was a few things about Halo 4, right, DJ? Talking about different modes.
Oh yeah, they're bringing back some old modes. They were talking about CTF, Oddball, and Griffball specifically. They were also mentioning that now when you're carrying the flag, you can have a gun and you can assassinate people with the flag.
They call them like flag assassinations
Really?
or something like that. Yeah, it's really cool. You actually put the flagpole right into their head. And the video that we've seen with people just carrying around like the Magnum and stuff like that in their right hand and the flag in the left, so you're not nearly as defensive, and you're not slowed down a bunch either. And the ball now for Oddball and Griffball, it carried around like a grenade almost. You can throw it and such, which is really cool.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. There was a little bit of news on God of War Ascension. We took a look at some new set of bosses called the Furies. They're going to be 3 lady bosses. One of them's like a spider, I think, is what the first one they showed off. And we got some screenshots for the next Dead Island and the triumphant return of Sam B.
Sam B.
But I really liked Dead Island. It was it was this year. It was one of the nice surprises that came out this year, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. It was definitely a new take on the whole zombie horror.
Mm-hmm.
I think RPG aspect involved and all.
Yeah, it felt like a little bit of like Fallout or Skyrim combined with good old Left 4 Dead with zombies everywhere and some nice co-op stuff. So. I'm glad that Deep Silver gets to do gets enough money to make a sequel, because I think that's a franchise that can definitely keep going on. But so these were some of the smaller things that came out of PAX 2012, and there's a few more if you go out and look on like IGN, Game Informer, a bunch of indie games and stuff that are showed off that are definitely worth taking a look at. But there were some really, really, really big announcements. 2 in particular that we're going to talk about that have been shown off at PAX 2012, coming from Square Enix and Konami, respectively. So the first one is one, DJ, that we sort of teased a little bit last week, is pretty much the return of Final Fantasy.
Specifically, Lightning's return.
Right. So this is what was going to be our speculated Final Fantasy 13, but it looks like 13.3, but it looks like they may have dropped that 13.3 subtitle, and it's just called Lightning's Return.
So I guess it takes place hundreds of years after 13.2. As I never played 13.2, but from what I understand, there's a lot of time traveling involved.
Time travel, alternate universe, very Chrono Trigger-esque. So the 100 and 1,000 of years, maybe we don't exactly know of what significance that is and how much time travel is. Commonplace, especially without spoiling the ending of Final Fantasy 13.2.
But as I understand, it's very much like Majora's Mask in that pretty much the world is ending. You're sort of on a time limit, and every time you use a special ability, the world, the end of the world comes a little closer. Yeah,
I mean, there was the comparison really to Majora's Mask, knowing when the world is going to end, and we don't know yet if there's any way you'd be able to rewind the timer and refill it or something like that, or if you're going to do same events over. But it's an interesting mechanic. When Like, there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do it. Like, the first time you guys heard about Majora's Mask, weren't you just like, 3 days? That's not enough time for Zelda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
But they made it
was a little
work.
frustrated.
So I've got some faith that they would be putting this mechanic in there in some way, shape, or form because they think they can make it work.
So did you hear anything about the battle system? Is it pretty much the same as 1 and 2?
They've said they're going to heavily modify what they had on 13.2, which was really a refined version of the original 13. Basically, the paradigm system, where the game does a little bit of auto usage of moves for you, but you get to pick what kind of like subclass you're going to be, like if you're the tank or if you're the healer or if you're the debuffer. But your Lightning's the only controllable character this time around, so I don't know exactly what that means. If you're not playing with other people, it would almost make me feel like you would. I mean, okay, it's going to be a little bit of a long shot, DJ, but follow me here. You remember Devil May Cry 3, right?
Yeah.
You would switch around what your subclass was. You'd either be a gunslinger, or you'd be a sword fighter, or a trickster, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could see a system like that being equivalent to the paradigm system, where you'd pick, if you want to be quick attacks or strong attacks or ranged attacks and stuff like that with your main character. And actually, instead of turning it turn-based, to make it like a little bit more active and maybe more like Kingdom Hearts, possibly.
That would be interesting. One of the things that kind of turned me off about the original 13 was the battle rating system, which was basically, as I remember it, the faster and the more stylish, I guess, your battles were. You had a rating, and that determined how many items you would get at the end of the round. You had the option to slow down the battle system in the menus. Unfortunately, they didn't curve it to the battle system to compensate for the fact that you turn the speed down. So essentially, if you pick that option, you were kind of giving yourself a
huge disadvantage.
Really yeah, because it would rate you based on the normal battle time and not the fact that you changed the speed. So
that was a flaw, definitely, in 13 when it came out. They did not adjust at all, unfortunately. And for a lot of players that weren't used to active time battle systems, like traditional, like the players that are used to like traditional turn-based system, switching around to doing what the paradigm system is, especially with so much of it being involved with timing, it definitely was a huge shift for people. Like compared, Ernie, to Final Fantasy X, for example, where it was all just about single turn stuff. You actually got to see the turn order right on the right side.
Right.
Yeah. So you never had to worry about, enemies getting extra attacks on you, that kind of thing.
Of course.
Right. So, let's see. Lightning's Return is also supposed to have a really heavy sort of gothic and mechanical kind of feel to it, which is a little bit different from what we had in the first 13 games, which was really a futuristic kind of feel. This is going to go a little bit more old school. And the more and more I keep hearing about this, like single female protagonist, gothic mechanical kind of setting, it's almost starting to evoke, and end of the world stuff actually, is evoking a feel from Final Fantasy VI, which is one of my favorite sprite-based Final Fantasies. So, but I'm looking forward to see more information about this, because all we have right now are a few screenshots and some retrospective videos about Lightning being the flagship character for Square Enix right now. But, okay, so we're going to go on to our next big announcement that was off the show floor at PAX. So, Ernie, why don't you throw me in on this one?
All right. The next title that we actually saw at PAX was a sneak preview on Metal Gear, the next title. They dubbed it Ground Zeroes. Me personally, I don't know why they have an S at the end of that, but it's a 10-minute trailer. They have a 14-minute trailer on IGN's website itself.
It's like an extra 4 minutes of gameplay video.
Oh, yeah. It's fantastic. But the game itself looks, amazing.
Pretty amazing. So
yeah.
the thing that Kojima really wanted to show off this year is what he's been calling the Fox engine, which is his new sort of next-gen gaming engine being developed wholly in-house at Konami. And they've showed up a few screens here and there from examples of it that have just been like, compare this screenshot to, you know, a real-life shot that we've recreated and see if you can tell us the difference. Yeah, I know that they've done that with... they did it with like a horse model in one of their like conference rooms or something like that. But so, you know, this is the same kind of thing we were thinking of when you remember when Metal Gear Solid 2 just came out, like how nice that looked.
Oh yeah, I remember Metal Gear Solid 2 just being fantastic when I was playing it.
Yeah, it blew me away.
I think we actually had a conversation about like how realistic the graphics looked at some point.
Yeah. Just,
yeah.
I mean, it blew away every other game pretty much that was being made at the time, and this looks to do almost the exact same thing. This looks like something that we would be expecting for the 720 or the PS4, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, fantastic looking graphics. When I was first watching the video, I got confused with what they meant by actual like live gameplay and live action almost, because it looks so good. To be honest with you, man, I was really impressed.
Yeah. DJ, what did you think?
Oh no, the video was sucking my teats. Felt so good.
Oh, weird Fallout reference.
Like I said, I know I need to play Metal Gear Solid. I really do, and I want to. But honestly, the video did look really good. It kind of reminded me of, when they were first showing off Metal Gear Solid 4, everyone was like, oh my god, these graphics are amazing.
Yeah.
This is epic. So,
it's like, the entire thing takes place like during a rainstorm, and you know, showing off how water works on textures has always been just like a great trick in the video game industry, and is a really good way to tell about, you know, where we're sort of at right now. Not quite the photorealism. I mean, it's still sort of stylistic, but there are parts where it's like really close and really nice. Like the rain off the ponchos just looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
So
like
give me some.
When you can't really see faces or the dogs in the beginning in particular, when you don't see those at first, it's kind of hard to differentiate. But once you start seeing the actual characters up close, then you can tell that it is just, you know, video game.
So give me a few more details though on this game that we've learned.
There, from the gameplay footage that I was watching, it was like they're really trying to stress that it's an open world Metal Gear Solid. Like, whereas the games in the past have kind of been like, you know, go this direction and progress.
Really linear.
Yeah, linear. You know, this one is, okay, well, here's a base, get into it, but do it however you want. You're not limited to anything. And also, if you don't want to go and do this mission quite yet, then just don't go do another mission. So I really like the open world feel, and I really hope that they can pull it off in the actual game.
So how are you going to get between missions? Are you just like running or what?
They mentioned it. This is only in the 14-minute demo that they mentioned this. It was you call in a helicopter actually, and that's basically your hub, so to speak, between missions. And call those in with flares, make sure that nothing's around to shoot the helicopters down, and you just go from space to space from there. Which I don't know. I'm interested to see how that works. It might
see if you can customize your helicopter or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's one thing that they did mention. When the helicopter actually does come down, it plays a song, and in the particular video, it was "Fly to the Valkyries."
Oh God.
And the guy mentioned in it that, yeah, right now it's playing Flight of the Valkyries, but you can put whatever song you want to it. I thought that was awesome.
See, that'd be pretty awesome if you can like upload your own songs or something. You can do, the techno remix of "Get in the Chopper."
You can, do like Gangnam Style, man. Just roll up in that.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know. I don't know if you guys are fans of Gangnam Style.
God, yeah, no, I'm a little bit lost on that reference. Sorry, man.
Oh man. All right. Well,
After the show,
after
you're
this,
gonna show me.
After this, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, I'm sorry. Tell me about Freddy Krueger. Does anyone know who that guy is?
Okay, so there is a villain that's shown in the video, and his face is pretty burnt. This is starting to go really big into Metal Gear stuff. Like, there's been no real confirmation on who exactly that's going to be. Some people are thinking it's a former villain from one of the other games. And granted, this would be like if we go in the whole Metal Gear timeline, this would be like the fourth game in the timeline. So we only have a handful of villains really to pick out from. Some people, though, are thinking it's a guy from the previous game, from Peace Walker, because this game has to take place after Peace Walker, most likely before the original Metal Gear. Some people are thinking it's a Russian KGB agent by the name of Vladimir Zadornov. What he would be doing on an American base, though, is a little bit beyond me, and also he got killed in Peace Walker, supposedly. There's been some photo analysis, though, of his right hand or something like that. He had a prosthetic right hand, and his coat matches it up. But the hat doesn't really make any sense. We haven't seen anybody with this fedora sort of like hat or cowboy hat before. But that's all sort of speculation. We know who the guy in the cage is. He's a little boy by the name of Chico that was in Peace Walker. The she that they mention in the trailer is probably his sister Amanda, and the person that Snake has to rescue is this girl named Paz, who was a double agent in the former game. So there are a little bit of story details here and there right now. If you're a fan of the Metal Gear series, some of it is starting to make a little bit of sense. So this is actually supposed to be a prequel, though, to what Kojima is calling Metal Gear Solid 5, which we don't know where that's supposed to take place either. Smart guess would be after Metal Gear Solid 4, but we've also got Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance coming out this year. God, just so many Metal Gear stuff things going on this year. And that's all with Raiden after MGS4, the cyborg ninja. So I don't know what MGS5 will be, because Snake seems like he's really out of the game at the end of MGS4. Yeah, but definitely stuff to keep an eye on. There was two other really big announcements coming out of Konami, though, at PAX. The first one was a social game they've talked about called Metal Gear Solid Social Ops. Play on the Ops thing, which has always been their title for portable titles and all that. But this looks like to be like a Facebook game or something you play on your cell phone. My guess it would be actually something a little bit more turn-based or something as opposed to actual live action, but we need more info on that. Yeah. We only saw a few screens. And then the other really big thing was that Konami's now in talks with a few movie studios about making a Metal Gear Solid movie. So, Ernie, I got to pose it to you. How do you make a Metal Gear Solid movie?
There already is a Metal Gear Solid movie. It's called Escape from New York.
Nah. But which game do you choose to start your whole big movie franchise off of?
I don't know really. As far as Metal Gear Solid goes, mainly because the storyline jumps around so much. Mm-hmm. From game to game. I would think most people would be familiar with Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
If at all, make a movie about that, because it's a great game to just throw the player in without having, or throw the person in,
the viewer,
the moviegoer, Yeah, just into the Metal Gear Solid world and have no idea what's going on, and then slowly explain things as you go.
I could see that this was going to be a franchise that the jump back to Metal Gear Solid 3, which takes place, I think, in 1964 or something like that, like right around the Cuban Missile Crisis. That would be a pretty big leap for a lot of players, a lot of viewers. But I agree, though, with you. Metal Gear Solid, the original, would be like the best entry point because Snake's a likable character. The conspiracy stuff doesn't seem really that mind-numbing or brain twisty until maybe the very end. Like if they ever got to Metal Gear Solid 2, I don't even know what the heck would happen when we had to get to I Need Scissors 61.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any idea who you would cast for Solid Snake?
No idea.
See, like I have trouble visualizing anybody else besides David Hayter doing the voice.
Yeah, the voice. I really don't know who would be a good fit for someone like Solid Snake.
Adrian Brody.
I was for some reason, and don't hate, but for some reason, Gerard Butler just kind of popped into my mind.
Yeah, I could maybe see that. What other big action stars are? Maybe Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know about that.
Inception.
Yeah, something like that. I think somebody out of a Christopher Nolan film maybe maybe Christian Bale. He'll slim up or do all sorts of stuff for roles, and he's got the gruff voice. Swear to me, do I look like a cop?
Metal Gear.
Oh, broke my knife.
So yeah, maybe Christian Bale. I don't know, but that'll be and my hopes are I'm keeping them way low because video game movie we know how that goes traditionally.
Yeah.
But maybe it'd be nice if we don't ruin this franchise because it's kind of beloved.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Maybe they could cast Tom Hardy.
Metal Gear.
Yeah. But yeah, so those were the big those are the two really big stories coming out of PAX, talking about Final Fantasy and Metal Gear, two really big franchise now that me and DJ can talk about every week. Okay, so gonna move on to a small little thing. I'll be talking a little bit about World of Warcraft. They just had a new, really large patch come out. It's the new game systems patch for Mist of Pandaria, which gets released later this month. And there's a pretty big shake-up on how the game is pretty much played, especially how you spec your character. We're gone from big, long 30-point talent trees down to 6 choices that you get to make with 3 different options, and they give you different skills, different passives and stuff, and it feels really nice for a lot of classes. Suddenly there's not just one right way to build a character. It's modular now, and everybody's a little bit more unique in a kind of weird way. And some other just really nice changes, like all your titles and your mounts are shared among all your entire account, and some other few things that it's just getting ready for Mist. But if people have ever been, interested in World of Warcraft, it's another great time to check things out. The free trial is going on now, and leveling up is easier than it's ever been. So if you've been interested at all at WoW, take a look at it. So, Ernie, we got you on this week because both DJ and I are a little bit more interested to hear about the newest big MMO on the block, and we want to see what your take was on Guild Wars 2.
Alrighty. Yeah. I guess I'll start from square one. I know last time I talked about my thoughts on character creation and a little bit about how skills work, but this time I guess I'll really talk about how the game flows.
Yeah. What level are you at now?
Right now I just got to level 40, and
so you're about halfway to the end game then.
Yeah, it's picking up pretty much from where I'm at. In the quest line, it's really starting to see things go away from the smaller conflicts and you're starting to focus on the bigger picture, which is the Guild Wars 2 in game. And it's not really any spoiler. I mean, dragons.
I mean, right, that was in the announcement trailer that you're all basically fighting this big dragon.
Yeah, I haven't necessarily gotten to the point of actually fighting the big dragon. I'm just, working on his minions at the moment.
Of course.
It's, more mid-game transition into the actual Zaitan is his name, the actual dragon.
But what is it? So when you boot up and play Guild Wars now, what's your regular schedule of things to do?
My regular schedule is mainly go around and collect points, POIs, points of interest, vistas, do hard events around Tyria.
Oh, and I guess another quick question to ask you, like the last person we had on talked about playing a necromancer. What are you playing? What class are you?
I'm playing a warrior.
Cool.
Warrior is just, I like to go around and smash things. That's just what I like to do.
Okay.
But I did check out Tyria's first dungeon, which is Ascalonian Catacombs, and I will say that it is seriously hard.
So dungeon's really big challenge then. You gotta
Yes,
have a lot of teamwork.
Oh yeah, you're a 5-man team going into a dungeon. It's a separate instance from the rest of the world, so it's not like everyone's in there and just going crazy on enemies.
Okay.
But it's a 5-man team going in, and there's a story mode and an explorable mode. The story mode is basically it has a story to it. Why is this, important? Why are you doing it? And then the explorable mode is a little bit harder than the story mode. It requires a 5-level jump from, for instance, Ascalonian Catacombs. You have to be level 30 in order to get in, and then the explorable mode is level 35 to get in.
So help me understand this a little bit, because Guild Wars doesn't really go with the whole traditional tank, healer, DPS kind of role. Everybody has to worry about their own health. Everybody can heal themselves. How does that work out?
It actually balances out pretty well. Guild Wars 1 did have the Holy Trinity, as they like to call it. But Guild Wars 2 moved away from it, and now everyone has their own healing skills. They're still they want to differentiate between roles and support. Like, there are still people that can choose to be healers, but it's not like their
necessary
main focus. Yeah, it's really a support role rather than a dedicated role.
Right, so dedicated damage kind of stuff essentially is between. So we've gone away with the tank. We don't really need the healers.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, there really is no one class that you have to be. Like in my case, I'm a warrior, but a lot of the time I'll go, I'll pull out my rifle and just go ranged, because it just makes more sense at certain times to do that rather than go up and get beat up.
So what is your main? Because I know that skills for all the classes are tied mainly to what weapons you have. What weapons do you like to mainly main around with?
The weapons that I run around with, for my first weapon slot, I have an axe and a mace offhand.
So dual wield.
Yeah, it's really nice because with the axe main, you have your regular chop, you have an AOE attack just around you, and point blank AOE. And
so good variety of skills. And so
yeah.
You have stuff that you switch though to go ranged. You said it was a rifle.
Oh yeah.
And so is that two-handed?
Yeah, it's two-handed.
Okay.
Yeah, they have the weapon swaps in Guild Wars 2, so I roll around with an axe and a mace for my first slot, and then for my second, I have the rifle, which is
do you like
really
the
nice
sort of modular stuff though, for just switching around weapons to get different skills? Does that feel good?
Oh yeah, it feels natural.
Cool.
I really like the way that they went about it. It's actually encouraged. Like, it's not like you run into a place with just the one weapon set that you have. If you go in with that kind of idea set in your head, you're really shorting yourself on the amount of stuff that you can do. Warriors in particular, if you go in there only as a melee, you're really, really hurting yourself, especially in the dungeons when there are only ranged bosses. In particular, one boss in Ascalonian Catacombs is on an island far away. And you can get onto the island that he's at, but it's a lot easier just to not take the DPS that he dishes out and range him.
Yeah. So the other big component, of course, to Guild Wars is going to be the PvP. And we heard a little bit last week about how once you do it, everybody gets max leveled and stuff and equal stats and all that. Though higher level players still do have the advantage of having more options available to them. How do you like the PvP, though, if you've been able to do it yet?
I haven't really been able to do much PvP, mainly because they're having issues with the world versus world at the moment.
Gotcha.
But there is a level boost. Like you can go in with a level 2 character and get boosted up to 80. Now,
but you don't have any skills.
That being said, it's not a permanent boost.
Right. Just for the arena or whatever.
Yeah, just for the area that you're in. But they do have weapon vendors, so on and so forth, so you can get the items from them. Like all the items are available to you. You can still buy them and then use them outside of PvP as long as you have the correct level requirement.
Gotcha. But you're really, I mean, right before we started recording this, you said you were already playing some Guild Wars 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you're thoroughly enjoying this. You're gonna stick with it?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep playing it for a while. I'm waiting for the trading post to come up. It's I guess in WoW it's the auction house.
Yeah. So players, can sell stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, they didn't have that in Guild Wars 1, so I'm still waiting for that to come up.
You messed around with any of the premium things? Have you gotten your baseball cap?
Yes, I have gotten my baseball cap.
All right. Cool. Well, thank you for that second look at Guild Wars 2. Definitely, guys, check it out if you're looking for an MMO to enter. It's got the great looking graphics. Apparently, it is pretty modular as well, and what else? Also, no regular subscription fee, which is nice. So, yeah. All right, so the next thing that, got announced really early in the week, I want to say it was like on a Monday or a Tuesday. The next expansion stuff for Skyrim has been announced by Bethesda, and they're calling it Hearthfire. So, Arnie, what is Hearthfire?
Hearthfire is basically a DLC that you can make your own housing, and the Elder Scrolls has been kind of a little iffy on the housing aspect, especially in Skyrim. You can go and buy your houses, but this time around they're trying to bring in the whole build your own house from materials that you gather around in the game world itself, and create your own house, like modular sections of it. And really make it your own.
If you want a kitchen or a blacksmith or a basement, etc.
Right.
So you can't build it anywhere per se, but you have to pick like a plot of land, right?
Yeah. They definitely have a video up on it, and they definitely select spaces that you can choose from. But I don't doubt that there are plenty of spaces, especially with the vast wilderness of Skyrim. I mean.
So it sounds like they're really trying to cater to the Minecraft crowd with this DLC, right?
A little bit. I mean, you know.
I would say so. I think the own household, though, goes back to, like, Morrowind in particular. I actually worked with a guy that did mods for Morrowind, and one of the mods he was working on was player housing. So it really goes back even farther than Minecraft.
I mean, one of the most popular mods for any Bethesda game when it comes down to putting stuff in the Elder Scrolls series or the Fallout series is just custom created houses that players really want. like, one of the big things that I'm hoping for this housing is making a quick travel point on the map, and I can just go there as opposed to I got to go into town, and now I got to go into this section of town, and now I can get into my house and all
Right.
that stuff. I just want to quick travel there, go in my house, which would be really nice.
That would be.
Yeah, but so you have to buy land, you have to get materials, so you're gonna get like iron and turn it into nails and stuff like that, and get lumber. I can finally use that woodcutter's axe or something.
Yeah, more than just making like 2 gold a pop.
Yeah. If you have a wife in the game, you can move her in. You still can't have kids yet, but you can adopt kids now. So.
Yeah, I don't think they've quite gotten to the point where, they want to show people how you make kids.
Sure. I mean, it would just be your house Carl saying "Honor to you, my Thane" the entire time, and I don't know. That's kind of awkward.
That'd be awkward.
Just as lame as it was in
Fable?
Fallout 3, it's just like
Fade
there
to
was
black.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's about all you can really do, quote unquote, tastefully in a game. And with the engines that Skyrim do, I really don't want to see things with people just look awkward anyways as it is. Going in even more detail than that, it just I don't. But there's other stuff too, like you would have to maybe defend your kids or you defend your house and stuff from like rats that are in your cellar or giants if you decide to build them right next to like a giant's campground or something, which would not be a good idea. The nice thing, though, I think about this is that the DLC is being priced at 400 Microsoft points, or about $5, which I think is really, really nice pricing for this. It's not like a huge bunch of story content, but it's not very expensive either. If you play the game a lot, housing is an issue to you, and this is a fix to, what is an all right system. This hopefully will be a really great system.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how they're going to work it, but it would be nice if you didn't have to become the Thane of a town in order to get housing.
Mm-hmm. They said that you're gonna you're gonna buy blueprints and use a drafting table or something like that.
Okay.
The buying the land part is gonna be the little bit more questionable part because you're gonna have to buy the plot of land before you can build the house, and that will most likely be assorted with a town of some kind. Like if you want to build a house near Whiterun, you're probably going to have to be good rep with Whiterun or spend an exorbitant amount of money at Whiterun, essentially.
Right.
They also said that you can hire housecarls, though, for the house that you build, and they can run errands for you. But, if this is like Wizard's Tower out of Oblivion, just like I got my blacksmith, I got my garden there, I've got some wood around that I can chop, and I can just do all my crafting and stuff there. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be.
Okay. I think it's supposed to come out next week. I think it's early September is what they said on the date. So.
I believe September 4th, actually.
Yeah, that would be Tuesday. So when it does come out, I'll definitely be downloading it, and we should have a review of it on the show next week.
Awesome.
Okay. And finally, when it comes to stuff for DLC, we also have the other big titan in the room talking about BioWare and the Leviathan DLC for Mass Effect 3, which we've been talking about a little bit here and there. I got to play through it and complete it, so yeah.
Awesome. Well, how'd you like it, to be honest? I haven't gotten much of a chance to play any Mass Effect 3 DLC, so I'm interested in hearing about this one in particular.
Yeah. DJ, you got to play some of the ME3 though DLC with From Ashes, and you've played all the Mass Effect 2 stuff, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So if we were to put this on sort of like a tier scale of what the really best DLC has been for Mass Effect, which has definitely been Lair the Shadow Broker from Mass Effect 2, this doesn't quite hit that level. The combat probably is the weakest part of this DLC because you're just, the Reaper enemy set, like it's Husks, Banshees, Brutes, you know what I'm talking about, Ernie?
Right.
Right. So you're just fighting those the entire time, pretty much. There's not a huge, big boss fight of any kind really to look forward to. There's a little Atlas driving section, which is nice. But the hardest part of the DLC when it came down to combat was dealing with 2 Banshees at once, which if you're really low level, that's going to cause you a problem.
Yeah.
But if you've gotten to like 40s, 50s, something like that, you probably have a way to deal with it. So I wouldn't recommend some of the later parts of this DLC for like when you're just getting in. But the nice thing is the way that it's structured. It's essentially 3 different missions, and you don't have to do them in sequence. You can do them at different points of the game. And the parts in between the missions where you're trying to figure out where you're going plays out really X-Files like, which is kind of interesting. You find all these different weird alien artifacts in a lab, and they help you narrow down parts of the galaxy map on where you're going to track this mythical Reaper-killing legend called Leviathan, something that has managed to take down a Reaper all on its own. So we don't know what it is exactly. There's hints here and there that it might actually be a whole nother Reaper that's gone like rogue. But there's a bit of a mystery in there, and the outcome of it was really satisfying for me, and a kind of nice twist that I wasn't that I wasn't really expecting. Some other stuff though, like I said, combat kind of standard, but story stuff really, really good. If you're at all interested about the origins of the Reapers, this is the DLC for you.
It'd be nice to figure out the whole storyline behind them, and does it go into any detail on like where exactly they came from, or is it just vague?
Like I said, I don't really want to spoil things for you, but I think you'll be pretty satisfied, and it'll put the game sort of in a little bit of a new light. Like, you may not have expected this.
Okay.
Like, sort of the ending of Halo 3? Like, you started learning about things about medicant bias and things like that?
Right.
Yeah, it feels kind of similar to that, almost like you might have aped it a little bit here and there, but there are some nice little touches and details. And it does change the ending around just a little bit, but mainly it's just about dialogue that you get to ask the Star Kid about. The other stuff that you get with the DLC, you get 2 DLC weapons, some that were already included with the pre-orders of the games. I think it's the M55 Argus, which is I think it's like a 2 or 3 shot burst version of like the Valkyrie or the Matic. It's like almost like a single shot rifle.
Right.
And the A12 Raider, which is it's like a 2-shot Claymore. Really, really good shotgun, but only really good up close. And the final thing that you get is a new bonus power, Dominate, which is the mind control power. And if you like to be really tricksy with an engineer, this is kind of like the power for you. So you get a fairly good amount of content here. Like I said, the story that you get is great. The action is okay. It's not fantastic, but you can spread it out all among your playthrough however you want. You get extra war assets too, which will help you reach the best ending in the game if you were having trouble with that without the multiplayer. And you get guns and a power. So, and this is all for like $10. So I think personally it's a pretty good deal.
So when the DLC first came out, there was a lot of misconceptions and misinformation, but I think ultimately something that people have been wondering since this DLC was announced is, does it affect the ending at all?
A very, very tiny amount, and I'm just talking about like a little bit of extra dialogue. Now, if you were still sort of ticked off by your 3 or now 4 choices of what flavor of red, blue, or green ending you get, that's still not going to change.
Still the yo dog. I heard you don't want to be killed by synthetics, so we made synthetics to kill you every 50,000 years, so you won't be killed by synthetics.
I mean, that's about the best way to sum it up right there. But there's like. That's all the same, but the extra context that you get from this DLC kind of makes it a little bit easier to swallow for me. So that's just me, though. That's my opinion. I, of course, would love to hear more opinions about this. Like, if either of you end up picking it up, DJ, which I know you're not going to, but or any of our listeners, if they'll tell us, what they think, that would be pretty great. Yeah, but I recommend it. So, but I am kind of biased in being a really big Mass Effect fan, so you got to take that into account.
Press the circle button repeatedly to regain your strength. When you've had enough, press the select button to submit. When your life reaches 0, the game is over. There are no continues, my friend.
Alrighty, so we're gonna finish out our show with our favorite, funnest segment that we always like to do. We're talking about, of course, quick time events. Okay.
Quick time.
Yeah. So press B, not to die. We're gonna do what we always do, where I'm going to give you some of the smaller news stories that came out this week. Some of them a little bit silly, some a little bit fun, maybe a little bit of trivia questions, and I'll direct them at one person or another. And they can tell me, what they think about it, hopefully give us a humorous answer. And if the other person feels like commenting, please go right ahead. So you guys both ready?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so Ernie, we're going to start with you. Resident Evil 6 accidentally got released early. In which country? Japan.
No.
No. No.
Sorry, I was about to say Japan, and I don't know why.
I don't know. It's
Because
made by the
that
Japanese.
That would make sense.
You say in Japan?
Yes.
No,
Japan and Russia at the same
Russia.
time.
Turns out it was actually Poland.
Poland.
Yeah. There's a website, a gaming site called NeoGo, and they got a German copy early apparently through some weird errors, and they've been posting screenshots here and there. But the game's done. It's been like gold for like a few weeks now, and they just got it done so fast, I feel like. But maybe that's just me.
Probably.
Going over to DJ, Halo 4 is going to be played at Major League Gaming events 2 days early before it gets released to the public.
See, I thought this was really strange because, I mean, the MLG players, sure, they're really good at Halo, and I'm sure they could transition easily into Halo 4, but I mean, they don't have any kind of practice, or some of them probably don't even have the know-how of how the game works.
Yeah, I mean, Halo hasn't changed that much between iteration, but some of the finer stuff is like ordnance drops, right? Like, you'd want to practice with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe see which loadout you prefer.
So, Ernie, do you think maybe that they might get copies of the game early to practice, or?
Possibly. I don't know. It's hard to tell with anything MLG. Not exactly sure where they're going to go with this.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll probably still be pretty good press, though, to be able to watch the game a few days before it comes out, and get psyched for multiplayer. Yeah. Going back to Ernie, the first free-to-play title coming out on Xbox Arcade. Do you have any guess of what it's called?
I have no idea, actually.
I mean, yeah, asking the title is going to be, okay, but you're going to like this a lot. It's really hardcore. It's called Happy Wars.
Happy Wars.
Happy Wars. So it's supposed to be kind of similar to like Fat Princess, and also a little bit like a MOBA, like League of Legends and stuff like that. Everybody takes a role of a small class and stuff, and they all push towards an enemy fortress and push back, and you fight it out in teams. So, and the free-to-play part comes to you're going to buy like customization stuff for all your classes and whatnot. But there's some PAX footage of it, so I cannot wait for Happy Wars. Going back to DJ, did you know that the original Nintendo Entertainment System used to have a knitting attachment?
A knitting attachment?
Yes, knitting, like making scarves and such.
Oh my god, that is so insane.
Can you imagine that, Ernie? Okay, so their tagline was, "Now you're knitting with power."
Did they actually knit that on for the NES?
No, there was a page like in a magazine or something like that that shows this thing. You can find it on IGN right now, but it just like plugs in through one of the controller ports and helps you knit stuff. I'd sound strange, but it's true. Going over here to Ernie, you've heard about Half-Life, right?
Half-Life, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what the Black Mesa mod is?
Actually, no, I don't.
DJ, you know about the Black Mesa mod.
God, it's amazing. And it's taking forever. It's almost as bad as Gabe trying to finish Half-Life 3.
Okay. Well, the good news is that it comes out in 2 weeks, which is just like out of nowhere. But DJ, elaborate to us. What exactly is the Black Mesa mod?
Okay, so this team, pretty much a separate team that got permission from Valve, have been working on pretty much an updated version of Half-Life 1. All new graphics, all new settings, they remodeled the guns, everything. It's all brand new.
It's all done in like the Source engine, right? The same thing that powered Half-Life 2?
Right. And they said that when it was finally finished, originally they said you can buy it, but it had to be, you had to own a previous Steam game, to now they're just saying it's completely free. When they're finished with it, it's done, it's free, you can have it.
So
and
yeah.
they said that in 2 weeks that you will be able to play the first 8 hours of the game.
Right, up to Lambda Core.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, super updated version of the original Half-Life. And I'm not talking like Half-Life Gold, like that was out on Steam, but I'm like really good looking.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty excited, but
Yeah.
they should have had this team working on, Half-Life 3.
That's what I'm saying. I'm still waiting for the Aurora Borealis or whatever you call it.
Yeah,
The Borealis. That's the name of the ship, the Borealis.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Episode 3 before Half-Life 3 comes out.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, going over to DJ. The collector's edition of Black Ops 2 Call of Duty was announced. What ridiculous piece of tech does it have inside the box?
Ridiculous piece of tech.
Like, remember, I think it was Modern Warfare 2 or 3 that had the, night vision goggles, right?
It was 2.
But what does this have in its box if you buy the super awesome Ultra Edition?
Oh, it's got, doesn't it have one of those miniature flying things?
Yeah, a remote-controlled drone. Very good.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I don't know, about maybe the size of your keyboard or something like that, but this is a little bit messed up, don't you think? Who is actually going to use this?
I don't know, to fly it around. Just anyone that likes those, used to play with those remote-controlled helicopters as a kid.
I guess. I mean, that's essentially what this is. This is, I don't know. Some of these collector's editions are just getting a little bit out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Resident Evil 6 and the leather jacket.
Yeah. It's priced at a few $1,000s, I'm pretty sure. But hey, if you want to look good like Leon from RE4, you got to pay the price. Let's see, going back to Ernie, so we've got the 25th anniversary edition of Final Fantasy coming out. Every single Final Fantasy game from the PS1 to the PS3. How about that?
Wow. I'm still probably not gonna get it because, I mean, I'd love to have it, but only for Final Fantasy 7 or maybe 10 and actually finish it.
It's weird. They've got the PS2 version of Final Fantasy 11 on there, and just the first disc of it or something.
Really?
Like the MMO, and so you'd have to have the portable hard drive to play. But there'd be an almost useless game basically in that box.
That makes no sense.
I think they've said the whole box weighs something like 11 pounds because you also get art books and stuff in there and soundtracks.
So wait, it's every Final Fantasy game?
Because they re-released some of the old Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3 on the PS1 as special updated editions. But you get the PS1 copies of those. You get all the PS2 copies of Final Fantasy. You get, I think, which is Final Fantasy 10, 11, which is the online thing, and 12. And you also get a copy of Final Fantasy 13 on the PS3. But the majority of the games are all PS1 games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, anything between, Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 7 is just kind of, up in the air for me. I have no idea what consoles those are for or anything.
It's a lot of RPG though for a box. Okay,
yeah.
Going back to DJ. I know you were worried about this. You were really concerned that you weren't going to get your fix, but I can put your fears to rest. Halo 4 will have a cross promotion with Doritos and Mountain Dew.
Oh my God. Okay.
God, this happens every year with whatever the fall shooter title is, and I think
I remember when they were promoting it for Mountain Dew when Halo 3 came out. That stuff was disgusting.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
And then Modern Warfare, it was you're supposed to get codes to give you XP boosts and stuff in your Doritos. So, hey, maybe you can unlock a special Doritos hat or Mountain Dew gun or something.
What came out recently? Oh, the Dark Knight Rises. It was dark blue. Whatever. It was
Yeah. Okay, going over to Ernie here. You got to tell me a little bit about this. So, Guild Wars 2, it's been out for maybe 1-2 weeks, I think, right? Something like that. So apparently within this short time period, they've already managed to ban about 3,000 players. So how does this happen?
It was impressive. They have these karma vendors, which karma is one of the other currencies in the game aside from gold, and, but they went to these karma vendors and bought high tier weapons for a few hundred karma, and then they went and sold these weapons, and they kept doing that, making
Okay.
a lot of money, gaining a lot of levels out of like certain weapons that they broke down and crafted with.
But the ban part is they were getting karma in a like exploitive way. Do you have any idea about that, or?
The karma itself was mainly from events, certain events. Like it's very fuzzy. You can join events and then leave them without doing anything and gain karma.
So it sounds like they were like rejoining an event over and over or something like that, and just they were doing something exploitive, is what they said.
Yeah, they were getting the karma, and then they were getting these weapons that were really cheap, and then getting lots of gold for basically no work effort put into it.
So ArenaNet, they said that they banned these players. They gave them a chance, though, for a one-time appeals process so that they could turn it into a 72-hour ban as opposed to a lifetime ban.
Yeah.
And they wanted to send this message, though, that just like, yeah, if you guys cheat, we're going to totally ban you from the game, so don't do it. You think this is an effective way, though, to send the message?
I don't know. I believe it is. It's like, hey, we've got the power to permaban you. The hammer's hot and ready to go. But I think also ArenaNet really needs to think about like why this came about.
You think it was more on their side that they didn't test the game enough then?
No, yes and no. I think it was half and half. The players realized it was an exploit and they exploited it.
Well, that's
but
what
I
players
think
do,
ArenaNet also should have looked into more beta events. Aside from the 3 beta weekends that they had.
Gotcha.
They could have really
Nipped this
saved
in the
themselves
bud,
a lot of
yeah.
heartache.
Okay. Going over to DJ, Borderlands 2 is going to have the Seasons Pass, it turns out.
It seems like a lot of games are doing this, and it's not a bad idea for people that know they're gonna buy the DLC. It kind of sucks though if say you don't get into a game until, I don't know, it's been out for a while. Kind of like if you were to just pick up Gears 3 now, that kind of makes the whole pass pointless.
Well,
But,
I mean, you can buy the pass and then you don't have to work, like, if you're going to get all of it, yeah, I mean, then the pass is usually a good idea, and they don't ever, like, take the pass off the market, do they?
No, but I think sometimes for some games, the pass is like, it's a guarantee for any upcoming DLC. I think if it's already out, though, it doesn't work.
You can sort of, I mean, yeah, the mystery is gone there, but you can judge better when everything's out. It's like, yeah, do I want to buy the pass or just this piece of DLC, just this character, etc.? They said that they're going to plan to have like 4 pieces of DLC content, very much like the original Borderlands. I've got no idea if this includes the extra class they're talking about or the arena thing that's supposed to come out at launch. So
The the easy class?
right, the one that
they said
so infamously talked about saying, yeah, the class that your girlfriend can play. And the internet just exploded with hate from that sentiment.
That's extremely sexist.
Essentially is what it was, yeah. But like the dev was sort of speaking off cuff, and he was trying to say, this is a class that if you're not a huge gamer, this might be the class for you because it'll make the game easier for you.
What he should have said was, this is the class your grandparents can play.
Right, because nobody's going to take offense to that.
Right, except old people, but I mean, who cares?
Yeah, well, there you go, DJ. We just lost all of our quote-unquote old people listening base, so thanks. Finally, going back to Ernie, we've got a GTA 4 mod that just came out. It is a Back to the Future mod. And the best part about this part is I get to put the Back to the Future intro theme at the very end of QuickTime Events, but you'll like this a lot, DJ. Or like this a lot. I know, DJ, you like this a lot because you heard of it, but Ernie, I mean, you're familiar with Back to the Future, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious. Do they have the DeLorean?
Okay. So first off, you get a Marty McFly skin with the.
Okay.
Okay. So which is good. You do have a DeLorean car, but the best part of that is that it is a functioning DeLorean.
Really?
Really. So, assuming your flux capacitor is good to go and your Mr. Fusion is filled up just fine, if you hit 88 miles per hour with the switch thrown, you can go back in time. And if you have a 6-star wanted rating before you go back in time, when you go back, the time of day changes and you are back to no stars in your wanted rating.
Awesome. Yeah.
So wait a second. In this mod, can you Can you just roll around with Marty, go back in your time machine?
I don't know so much about that if the people that you kill end up coming back to life, but all I know is that you can definitely evade the cops. It does the whole, like, screeching, like, fire on the road and the explosion when you go back in time as soon as you hit 88 miles per hour.
Can it fly?
I don't know if it can fly, but then again, if you turn on the cheat codes, anything in GTA can fly.
True.
What I want to see is if this functions in the multiplayer mode, because that's DJ. You've watched those Kraken videos with me, right? With when they do multiplayer or with the crazy cars and stuff. I got to show you some of these, Ernie. They're great, but yeah. If you've got GTA 4 on the PC, it's another great mod for you to download. And that is going to take care of our QuickTime events for the week. Thank you very much, guys.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, so that's going to actually close up our show as well. I want to give thanks and thank you to Ernie and DJ for joining me. A few little announcements. We've got some deals going on right now with the UNCG campus about getting this show on Spartan TV. Hopefully you'll be watching this on Spartan TV at some point. And we're also trying to get a radio show going on WUAG, but we're still in the works for that. We've also, since we've gotten the name set up, we're going to get a site set up pretty soon. YouTube is starting to be a little bit more receptive with my videos, so not getting taken down anymore or anything like that. Do either of you guys have any kind of announcements or anything like that?
Nope.
Not off the top of my head at the moment.
Okay. Well, keep me updated with anything that does go on. If you want to reach me or send in some emails of the show, you can email me at xero759@gmail.com. Please feel free to send your emails, your responses, what you think of the show, and let me know if you want your email read on air. We can possibly talk about what's going on. Yep. Okay, so that's going to do it for this week. I'm your host, Kevin Harrison.
I'm DJ.
And I'm Ernie.
And we will see you next time.